Okay, so I kind of want to do this while it's fresh on my mind. And I know that most of you already have seen some of it already on social media. You've seen other people's opinions and reviews. This is for the first part, I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free. And the second part, I'm gonna talk a little bit about spoilers, at least my interpretation. Okay, so Backroom, honest opinion. As a consumer, average consumer, this movie will be a little bit painful to watch. You don't go into the movie with an expectation. If you're off an obsession high, or if you're just like someone who really wants to watch movies, or you just kind of want to use it as a form of escapism, right? I don't think this is a good movie if you want to just kind of shut your brain off for about 2 hours and just watch what's happening. If you're a horror person, if you like horror, then this is a more of a like a mystery thriller than straight up conjuring demons, religion, invoking gore and all of that. If you are someone who's like a cinephile, then this is definitely something that will interest you. But overall, I would say that this movie I had to kind of let marinate in my head after I'd finished it. Your first reaction might be, "What the fuck was that?" And and honestly, that was my reaction. I literally was sitting down after the movie had ended, and I was felt a little empty, you could say. I just felt like I didn't resonate with it, right? I watched it and I was like, man, I'm not saying it was this isn't my overall opinion, but for a second, a fraction of a second, I was like, what the fuck was that? That was a piece of shit. Right? I was like, I didn't say it out loud. I didn't ruin the it for anyone. But in my head, I was like, this makes no sense to me. And then I was like, I took a walk outside after the movie was over. I went outside. I was like, I went to my car, but I really didn't sit down and drive or go back home. I just kind of like walked around for a little bit, just trying to understand what I had just experienced, like, like what I had kind of committed to. And I replayed the movie in my head. Like I went back to some scenes. Obviously, I missed a lot of details. You will miss a lot of details, whether it was intentional, unintentional. People will come out and they will break down everything scene by scene and find things that you have may have skipped, and some things that the director may have not intended, or the writer may have not intended, or the actors may have not intended. I could have probably compressed that sentence, but fuck it. So after coming back home, after finishing the movie, coming home and just marinating in my thoughts, right? What is my honest opinion? What is my honest reaction? And I will say it's I don't think you should call it, I think it's an injustice to call it a horror as much as it is a mystery. And the real credit, whether, the director intended or not, or if the writer and screenwriter directed or not, it's something that is very open to interpretation based off of how you feel. It's not one of those movies where like there is a right or a wrong. There's like it's there's no clear villain and hero archetype. There's no like plot building, climax, ending, done deal, right? It's not like an Avengers movie. It's not your rom-com. Obviously, it's none of those genres. It's a mystery thriller, but the thing about the mystery is that it technically doesn't get solved. There is no Scooby-Dooing this shit. In all honesty, you have to Scooby-Doo this shit. You the viewer, you the enjoyer. And that is why I think the average consumer, your mom and pop, your older generation, people who want to go to the movies because they just want to turn their brain off and enjoy something, this isn't for them, right? They might enjoy it. I'm gonna discredit them a lot here. They might enjoy it and be like, "Wow, that was really good." But I don't think, if I was to take this, if I was to take my parents, they wouldn't like it. I know they wouldn't like it. I, on the other hand, do like it. Do I like it as much as I liked Obsession? Because you have to understand, right? I'm not gonna compare it to Obsession. but I have set obsession at a threshold, like all of us have, right? We have put obsession on a pedestal just because of how phenomenal it is. This movie, I'm not gonna put on a pedestal, and I'm not no hate, right? I'm not saying I hated it. This is just me trying to treat it as its own as its own project, right? You can't use Michael's paper as just because Michael did a really good job on his paper doesn't mean you have to use that to grade everyone else's paper, right? That's not how it works, especially in cinematography, because it's super complex and each director has its own vision, right? We're not going to use Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese or Steven Spielberg to grade Curry Barker and Ken Patterson, right? And we're not going to use Curry's work to grade Ken and vice versa. So Backroom is definitely one of those movies where you will have to sit on it a little bit for you to really enjoy it. It's not one of those, wow, roll credits and damn, applaud. No, it's definitely one of those, like, I'm gonna need to take a walk. Connect with nature for a little while to understand what you just witnessed. That's my 2 cents, right? If I was to grade it, my parents, right? I'm gonna say I'm gonna use my parents as the average consumer, right? As like, Tom, Dick, and Harry. My parents would not like it, right? Let's say if mystery thriller people, they might like it because it's gonna force them to think. It's not gonna be handed to you on a silver platter like Knives Out, right? There is no God damn it, what's Daniel Craig's character name in Knives Out trilogy, right? That French dude he plays like from Baton Rouge. Well, whatever his name is, there's no Scooby Doo or Daniel Craig from Knives Out to come hand you the murderer on a silver platter. So mystery thriller people, be used, get ready to use your brain on this one. Cinephiles, right? And I don't include critics and cinephiles. I think critics are their own animals, and I'm not slightly interested. We've all seen a lot of critics hype up movies that audience say are shit. And I'm someone who thinks more in line with the audience than I do with the critics, right? Now, I'm just a dude who's not screen recording, who's like, screen, yeah, I'm recording this in my apartment complex, right? But at the same time, like, to my credibility, I work hard, I pay my bills, I do my taxes, I have interests and niches and hobbies, right? Movies are one of them. So I do feel like my voice should be opinionated or should be heard, my opinion should be heard. And you know, if you're interested, let's talk about it. If you are even more interested, let's debate about it. And if you want to just attack me in the comments like a mad dog, then go ahead. Like, I don't care. But yeah, like mystery thriller cinephiles, I will say that this movie does challenge you to like, like not challenge you to like it. It's not that it challenges just as much as it'll challenge the mystery thriller people. Hey, you know, like come to a conclusion. In terms of, first of all, acting, phenomenal. All right. I don't know how to pronounce the gentleman's name, and I don't want to disrespect him by even trying. But the gentleman who obviously is the protagonist, if you want to call it, or the main character, does a phenomenal job. And my attention, or my favorite thing about all of this was his facial expressions. I don't know how he did it. Obviously talented, obviously been in the game for a while, but he killed it with his facial expressions. When you see him in the beginning and you see this lost, man who's hopeless, or things, life has kind of beaten him up, and you feel like the hope in his body just withering away and dying. when he experiences the back room and he's interested, but he's mystified, and he's trying to make sense of this. You share the confusion through his facial expression. Like what you are going through, he does it for you. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like what? Like fucking kills it. And towards the end, right, when we kind of like the overall theme of it, theme of the Backrooms, which I'll talk more about, he destroys it in the last like 10 minutes, right? The nervous, the paranoia, the you know, in a sense like accepting who he truly is and becoming one with it. Um yeah, overall great movie in that sense. Like as an actor, I like thespian wise, great. Lighting, music, yeah, they did their job. It was eerie. It was scary. And my favorite thing was that they didn't show the horror through, like the 4K resolution lens. No, they had like they did their part in editing into showing it through the lens of like a 90s camcorder or video like video recording camera, and showing you the cuts and the freezes and the little skips in the frame. Phenomenal job. That's what brought the horror. That's what made for most of me, for most part of the movie, that's what made me close my eyes. It was like, I don't want a fucking jump scare. I don't want to see no blood and gore as of right now. I don't want to scream in a room full of people because and then like whether they just I don't want to fucking scream. I don't want to be jump scared. I don't want my soul to leave my body. But they did a really good job on the lighting. They killed it with the music, and like the set design. Dude, the set design was phenomenal. All right. I may be overhyping this, and I am, I think I am, I don't know, but the set design was crazy good. And the reason why is for all of this, like, the reason why I'm saying all this is because now I'm going to talk to you about basically the overall premise. So if you've seen it and you're still kind of confused, the I found the easiest concept is to use to explain this movie is mirrors and memories. The backrooms in this movie is unlike, the horror game, is that it's a mirror dimension. Essentially, when you walk through from the furniture store and you see all the stuff that's inside of it, right? It's a mirror dimension, and it's proven when you see the stop sign and it's read backwards. I believe there's a bunch of materials in throughout the movie that if you notice, they're not straight, right? They're not you don't read the stuff from left to right how we would. It's, backwards. So it's a mirror dimension, which kind of makes sense, right? If you kind of jump through a mirror, right, everything would be in reverse. So that's what the back room is. The back room is some sort of mirror universe, and because our like this, if you think about if a mirror universe, right, it's endless in the sense that it's like space and time, like it's endless, like you could keep on going through space. Same way in the back rooms, this space is a mirror space, but it's not essentially like how our world is. It's a mirror universe of our memories. And that's what we see. Then that's what probably is kind of hinted. And if you didn't understand it, that's what all this was that the protagonist was feeding the mirror universe through his memories. The furniture that you see all over the place, that's the furniture that's in his store. And because you see so much of it, then the protagonist actually kind of later explains it, but it's not very well defined. It's just kind of like a statement, a couple of statements, and then that's it. He doesn't really elaborate it and neither do the scientists that you see in the movie really explain it. So, um, that's what like it really is. Is that like for every person that enters whatever, like the backroom crawl space, like the crawl space that you kind of get into, or if maybe you have to go inside of it, but it on it, it literally just feeds off of your memories. And because your memories are imperfect, right? Unless if you're Sheldon Cooper and you have an eidetic memory, good on you. But our memories, the normal humans, our memories are faltered, altered. Sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's a little bit late. We alter stuff in our memories, and we alter them based off of our emotions. We sometimes will tell a story and kind of add details, little micro details, to make ourselves look like the villain, or sorry, the hero, or we were the victim in the situation. And the same thing is what it is in this mirror universe, is that a lot of the stuff, you could see is kind of like it's little incorrect details throughout the movie, and that's because his memory isn't as sharp. So whatever he's thinking up, that's what the universe is projecting, and because it's not accurate, 100% accurate, the universe is, capturing that inaccuracy. Point of example is in one of the scenes, I believe you will see that there's like the chair that he sat on during the commercial that he was shooting, and there was like footwear stuck in the floor. That is basically the same, like he witnessed that, like that's the same thing. Like the chair is the commercial, and the reason why it's tilted like that is because it falls over, but in his head it never broke apart. It's angled like that. And the footwear that you see around it, the flip-flops and the shoes, are the exact same flip-flop and the shoes that the secondary characters were wearing. And as you progress later in the movie, when the therapist is trying to escape, you see that the backroom mirror universe is adjusting to her memories. Um, when she exits the little sofa room through the little window and she has to crawl, the basically like that structure, like the pit structure is uh the is kind of forced to look like the building that eventually was going to get built where her home was demolished. When she exits and you see her in this like, neighborhood, that's the neighborhood that she lived in or lived in. It's a little bit hard because of the details. I wasn't able to capture all of it. And then when she exits her neighborhood, you can see that her most, you know, accurate memory is her crawling through, the basement and getting up to the furniture shop, and that's what everything in that area is, is perfect or is super accurate. Um, Now I don't know how to explain the trap as you see in the movie. There's like that little caveman. Some say it's Jesus, some say it's caveman. I thought it was Jesus Christ, but some say it's a caveman, it's not Christ. You could believe whatever you want to. I don't know if there's a confirmation from anyone in the production, but you see that there's a caveman, she trips it, and all the gas is being released, and now, I don't know if that was set up by the scientists and the team that rescue her, or if that was just like it was already planted there, and the mirror universe had basically restructured itself around that. I'm not super sure, but you could go with whatever you want. Like I said, this movie is very end user subjective, you could say. Like the final 10 minutes of this movie is like subjective to what you believe. Uh, Going forward towards the end, you see the doctor who, like who we see like two or three snips of, and he's like trying to explain it, but obviously he can't disclose all the information of his company and what he does. And then the movie cuts to basically what is, her essentially being interrogated and her face is distorted and everything, which makes me want to believe that that she's being interrogated in their mirror universe and that the company basically has made like a base of operations, if you want to think. And I didn't stay for end credits, just because, I had to leave. But like I said, this movie is challenging for people who aren't, like like there's movies that you can just shut your brain off and enjoy whatever's happening in front of you, and then there's movies that you have to kind of think with. Most people prefer the former, not the latter. I am, like if I get the vibe where I can shut my brain off in this movie and enjoy it, I will. But, this one, kind of knowing the context of the meme as well as the video game, right? The indie horror video game. I kind of was like, I think I might have to think about this, and I'm kind of glad that I had my brain like just trying to understand and process and think and treat it as if I'm gonna be examined on this later. So, in short, I don't want to rank this. I don't like to rank these movies. I will tell you that it is a good watch. I wouldn't, based off of how you will, if you're gonna sit there and, kind of be prepared for the little bit of jump scares and the little bit of gore that's in it. It's not a whole lot of gore. It's only like maybe two or three scenes of gore. When I mean gore, I mean like, you see blood coming out and you see a little bit of violence. If you're prepared for that and you're prepared to use your brain and kind of like actively learn the movie and this and the whole universe, it's a good watch. Um, if you aren't, you just want to turn your brain off and treat it like an Avengers movie, or like a horror movie where you're just gonna see like, oh, I'm gonna see a fucking, like Jason or or Mike Myers just like cut people up, and it's not gonna be that type of horror. It's gonna be a mystery, it's gonna be a bit of a thriller. So, you know, based off of that, right? We'll take the risk and watch it. Um, yeah, like I said, I really liked how Ken Patterson took his this direction. The actors were phenomenal choices. They really killed it. The direction killed it. Overall, like it's not bad. It's not like when the crappy third eye CGI that you see in Doctor Strange, the second Doctor Strange or the third, I can't remember which one it was. Like it's not like they were cheap and they decided to cut out and spoil the movie for you. There's none of that crap. Um, you won't feel for a second I don't think for a second the audience will feel that they were robbed of a really good cinematic experience. But I will say that you have to kind of be prepared to, you know, use your brain a little. So, yeah, that is my opinion on Backrooms. It just got released, I think, May 29th, so it's gonna be here for a while. Obviously, A24 is a phenomenal studio. They really know what they're making. They've made some phenomenal stuff in the past. I'm here for it. It's actually a very funny thing that you kind of watch movies based off the production, not like the actors or the directors. But yeah, A24 killed it. Ken killed it. Actors killed it. I will learn how to pronounce your name. I will go on Google and I will watch all the videos and people and stars and all the other interviews pronouncing your name, but I am sorry that I don't know it off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, Backrooms out now. Watch it at your own risk and be prepared to make your own conclusions.